Auzubillahi minash shaitanir rajeem. Bismillahir Rahmanir Rahim. Assalamu alaikum listeners. This is Rashid Farooq with the program Azmi Pakistan. This program is brought to you by Refined Institute of Media Sciences in collaboration with Higher Education Commission of Pakistan. Today we have a theme that is UNESCO's global initiative of media information literacy. You are listening to this program on FM 102.2 and you can watch this program on AGC web portal as well. As I said, this program is in continuation with the global initiative of UNESCO, that is media information literacy. Listeners, this initiative provides space, it provides opportunity for people, communities and societies to interact with each other to develop this world into a better living place. For taking this initiative a bit further, Refined Institute of Media Sciences has opened a window of discussion under media information literacy. For this purpose, we have the honor of the company of Mr. Rolf Holmboe, who's the ambassador of Denmark to Pakistan. Welcome to the show, sir.
Thank you very much.
I hope you're enjoying your capacities and capabilities to bridge the relationship between Pakistan and Denmark.
Of course I am. The good thing about being an ambassador to Pakistan is that you have many opportunities and many various instruments you can bring to bear to bridge the cultures, to create mutual understanding, and to work for some of the common challenges that we are facing in the world. Pakistan is facing challenges, and we are also facing challenges, and some of them are the same. And we can actually inspire each other, we can help each other in solving those problems.
Excellency, how do you feel this? How important it is to bring the people of two different and distant nations together? Since I understand that there are various differences on sets of values between both the nations. How do you feel? Is it very exciting or is it very challenging for you?
It's not. It's always a challenge. I wouldn't call it challenging. I would say it's a challenge to do it. It's a challenge to, because Pakistan comes from one cultural context, Denmark comes from another cultural context, okay. And of course there are some things that are different, and some things are, very much alike, much more than you will actually think. And
like for example, what similarities would find?
Well, my favorite one is Pakistanis love food and Danes love food.
Love. Okay.
So basically, you have. There are some things that we like. There are some things that I like. Some things that are different. Also, we have already learned, from the Pakistani context. We have a large Pakistani diaspora community in Denmark, and they have brought, some of the cuisine, the love of mangoes.
Do you like oily food and stuff?
Probably, in the fusion sort of spirit, I would probably tend to use a little less oil than would be normal here. And mix oil and water. A Pakistani chef actually told me how to do that. Instead of just putting oil, which is not that healthy, in fact, not healthy at all, you can mix oil and water and you will have the same juiciness of it and you will have a much healthier product in the end. Even Pakistani chefs are doing this now.
Yeah, I just heard that your embassy has been working with students to learn and exercise this sustainable food cooking and cuisines.
It is.
How is that?
One, it's fun to do. Two, it's very necessary. I mean, both our worlds are faced with the scourge of diabetes. And Pakistan is particularly hard hit, the fourth hardest hit country in the world of diabetes. Which means that millions of people have diabetes. And the thing with diabetes is in the way we eat and what we eat. Actually, diabetes, with more awareness about the disease and what is causing it, is not going down, it's actually going up. And that is a global trend that we are seeing, but more in Pakistan than so many other places. So that makes it a challenge. So we have engaged with the government of Punjab, with the federal government, with the government of KP, to try to put more focus on the prevention.
Wow.
Yeah, and we've been working with the renowned Wasim Akram, who, as you know, as a cricket player.
He has been working on this.
And in mid-career as a cricket player, next to His Excellency the Prime Minister, he was diagnosed with diabetes, but he continued his career, and even with diabetes, he took almost 400 wickets after. So he's showing, he's the role model for young Pakistanis that you can do it through a little more healthy living, more exercise, Daily exercise, that's the thing you need. That is the thing that is hard to argue for in Pakistan. And also a little more healthy living, a little more greens, a little less oil, a little less rice, things like that. But there are things that you can work on, but it makes sense to do it together.
True. Would you like to? Elaborate a bit more on the initiative that your embassy has been taking for the last so many years in Pakistan about healthcare, especially?
Yes. I mean, we're working with a Danish company called Novo Nordisk.
Okay.
And Novo Nordisk is a company, it was the first company in the world to actually do insulin. And insulin is the medicament you use to control diabetes.
True, yes.
But this was a company that is founded by doctors, so it's not, a profit company like as such. What they do is they turn their profit into research and development to provide even better and cheaper solutions for the people afflicted with now both diabetes but also obesity, because those two things are pretty much related. So they're working on these fields, and they're active here. So we go in with the government of Punjab, and we were just up in the KP together with the chief minister, with Mr. Wasim Akram as well, and Novo Nordisk, who financed a mobile van to do early diagnosis of diabetes. Because if you have early diagnosis, you may not even need medicine. And you will not have the follow-on diseases that really cost a lot for society and for people, and that give a very poor quality of life for the people afflicted with them. If you just, let's say you're a doctor and you tell me I have diabetes, and you tell me you have to do more exercise and you have to live more, eat more healthy, and I do that, then I perhaps can avoid even taking insulin. We're trying to engage with the government and the governments of the provinces here to put more focus on the prevention of diabetes. We do that together with Novo Nordisk, the largest company working within the diabetic field. The diabetes field, and together with the governments on this project. So I'm very excited about these projects. We're doing health rooms in schools. We'll be financing some health clinics in all provinces of Pakistan to show the way forward in how you can put a better focus on not only early diagnosis of diabetes, but also on to tell people a little bit how can you avoid getting diabetes through more exercise and more healthy food.
Since you have discussed you use the word research, it's not limited to healthcare, I do understand that Denmark has been working on renewable energy, and you have expertise in that. Pakistan, as I understand that the government of Pakistan is now trying to convert towards this renewable thing. So are there some areas that we can see in the future that are going to be a platform for both the nations to come together?
There is. I'm very excited about this new renewable energy policy that the government intends to pass probably this month. It's in its last stages, approved by cabinet. It's in its last stages. And this renewable energy policy will take Pakistan from 4% renewable energy to 30% in just 10 years towards 2030, which is a big step.
Is that achievable?
It is achievable. I mean, even more could be achieved easily.
Question, especially with experience that you have in Denmark.
Yes.
How is that possible, and how we can make it possible in Pakistan?
I mean, the planning that the government is doing for it is achievable, and you could do 3 times as much; it would still be achievable. You need to work on the transmission grid, the distribution system, but the projects themselves are putting up the solar panels, putting up the wind turbines. That is achievable. I can give you an example. Back in the 1970s, we had an energy crisis, and we decided strategically we would go for back then for renewable energy. At that time, it was not really developed. But then we had a company called Vestas, which is the largest wind turbine producer in the world. It's a Danish company, and they've done all the groundbreaking research in modern wind turbines. Now, of course, there are many producers of wind turbines, but the interesting thing is that Vestas is also interested in coming down to Pakistan and partner with Pakistan in these challenges. And these are state-of-the-art turbines. These are turbines, that will run flawlessly for at least 25 years. Even, with built-in artificial intelligence, it would tell you 6 months in advance, when you have to change a small thing inside. It can feel or it can measure, and it will probably break in 6 months' time. you have a warning, and then you can change it in good time. And if you take renewable energy, right now Pakistan, among the most developed economies in the world, of which Pakistan is one of the 70 most developed economies, basically Pakistan has the highest energy costs.
Yeah.
Which is because there's a very heavy dependence on fossil fuels like oil, coal, and gas, which are the most expensive. Some of the tariffs is 29 cents, for a kilowatt hour, 24. A normal one is a more 12 to 16. Solar and wind can feed into the electricity grid at between 4 and 5, and with larger projects, potentially between 3 and 4. So it just makes best economic sense for Pakistan to go renewable. And you could ask yourself the question why Pakistan has not done it before. Like the entire world is doing it. Even the UAE is doing it. Saudi Arabia is doing it. Why has Pakistan not been doing it? And that's why Pakistan has the high electricity cost. It is making the economy of Pakistan less competitive. It is influencing the balance of payments, the trade balance, import-exports, because so much fossil fuel is being imported into Pakistan needlessly.
This is an important dimension, and I would like to ask you, Your Excellency, to elaborate a bit more on this biofuel thing. Pakistan is interested in converting towards this thing. How is that? How can we make that?
Well, biofuel is possible. That's been done in Brazil for a very long time. Yeah. Now, in most countries in the world, you would have a mix of ethanol into the fuel for your car, 10, 15%, depending. And that's a good thing because it makes for cleaner combustion for as many percent as you add ethanol and biofuel. But if you take to the new trend will probably be electrical cars or fuel cell cars.
So we are shedding this fossil fuel and biofuel, and we are moving towards alternative means.
I can tell you in Denmark, the Danish government has decided by 10 years from now, we will not have fossil fuel cars anymore. Oh, okay. They will be electrical or fuel cell, or a mixture of both. And that is now feasible. Right now we're already putting fuel cells into public buses, into trucks. Mm-hmm. They will not be going by fossil fuels, already starting now.
Now is the time to move.
They're taken out of fossil fuel, and the new ones will be fuel cells, which is hydrogen, clean, or electrical, which is made by renewable energy, clean. So it will also improve our air quality in Denmark has improved massively. Now 80% of our electricity is now made from renewable energy sources, compared to 4 in Pakistan. True. So our air quality has just improved massively. And one of the big problems in Pakistan is air pollution. It's one of the most polluted areas in the entire world. And it's due to many things, but also the use of fossil fuels, and also, of course, the burning, on the fields. So instead of just
creating smog and everything.
It is. And instead of burning it on the fields, what you could do, is to use it as biomass. Okay. And then and then you turn it into energy. But when you burn it in a biomass plant, you will filter the smoke. It will be much better for the climate than just burning it in the field. True. And it will not give the same pollution effect. So there's many things that can actually be done that is achievable, that the government is contemplating, especially in the energy field, which is the big area. But now, it's all changing towards not just government doing it, it's governments, it's companies, businesses, and individual households as well.
Where does people come in this entire thing?
Well, basically, if you go to our countries now it's the youth. The youth are demanding, because they will inherit the earth. Not us, the older people. We have limited time, but the young ones, they have their whole lifetime, and they know that they will be living with the consequences of this. So they realize that they have to put pressure on us, and so the young people, if you go to any house in Denmark, it will be the school children that will be arguing with their parents to become more green and to do things in a more sustainable way, because that's what they talk about in the school. That's what they talk about with their friends. Greta Thunberg, a young Swedish girl, she took up this voice. She went and talked to the United Nations Secretary General. She decided not to take an aircraft over.
She refused that.
Yeah, but to take a sailboat across. To do it in of course, sending a message of sustainability. But the thing is, that she's been the voice of youth in trying to put pressure. And 50 million young people across the world, some thousand in Pakistan as well, also went onto the street when the United Nations had its summit, last climate summit back in September.
Yeah. Since we are talking about youth and young people, along with me, we have our student, a student of Refined Institute of Media Sciences.
Hello.
She has some questions for you, Excellency.
Mm-hmm.
So,
So, as you have mentioned about the Danish technology and innovation, so as we are just far away from this technology, and in Pakistan the technology is not so advanced. So, how the Danish technology helps to improve the whole situation in Pakistan, and especially in the areas of renewable energy, and how can we take some basic steps to improve this situation, the critical situation in Pakistan, to create such opportunities or such areas to make advance, to create such areas in renewable energy.
From people's side, maybe. I mean, we can listen to some.
Well, I mean, I see as one of my big tasks is to try to enhance the business cooperation between Pakistani companies and Danish companies. And I see that because there is a win-win solution in this. Pakistani companies, they may not at this point in time have access to the newest technology, and they have a hard time accessing export markets. But our experience is that if you have a cooperation between a Danish company and a Pakistani company, it solves both these problems. It actually gives the Pakistani company access to the newest technology and production methods, quality standards, which is the most important thing for Pakistani companies right now. It's to enhance the quality standard to go on to the export markets. And these partnerships, through that, the win-win situation is, of course, that the Danish company can help the Pakistani company export, but also the Danish company wins by the fact that they will have a market share, a larger market share in their area. And if you talk about renewable energy, when this new renewable energy policy comes out, then the government will make what is known as large auctions, where they sell off a plot. So they sell off a plot of some size. It's probably some hundred, perhaps some thousands of megawatt in one size. That is auctioned off for a company to take on that, to develop it, and then put up, let's say, 1,000 megawatt of wind power or solar power. And that would probably mostly be international companies with the expertise. But in doing it, what they will do is that if it's done the right way, then the international company would partner with local companies for most of the work. Yeah. That would already be a technology transfer. And if the market continues to expand, perhaps companies would also place production of these elements inside Pakistan. So through that, you would have a transfer technology that in the longer run can help Pakistan, and Pakistan can then actually perhaps partner with companies outside for projects outside Pakistan. I can give you an example. Vestas, the Danish wind turbine giant, they do so-called hybrid plants, and a hybrid plant is wind, solar, and storage. Oh, okay. So they work with Tesla on the storage. Yeah. Tesla does some of the most innovative batteries in the world, and they work with a Chinese company for the solar part, because they do a high quality, solar panel production. So sometimes if you can build the quality of your production, you become viable not only for the Pakistani market, but you become interesting also on the international market.
So as we are discussing about the present condition and situation in Pakistan, so how the embassy and how the Danish technology and everything can help us to improve and sustain the social and economic cohesion in Pakistan. And what are the efforts by embassy to improve such situation in Pakistan, especially the social and economic cohesion, or to improve, to enhance this sustainability in our society, especially in our country?
What we're hoping to do, I mean, one key area in Pakistan is agriculture. Is also known in technical terms as the food and agri sector. And Pakistan has not been able to export very much of its agricultural product. But if you want value addition, if you want expansion of what is going on in the agricultural field, you need more exports. For that to happen, you need more qualitative production. You need higher quality of the products. Right now, the quality of the products is not enough in the general sense to export. But if you take up the quality, then you can actually make the case for export. And I'm inspired by the fact that Maersk, which is a Danish shipping line, the world's largest shipping line by far, they are very active in Pakistan, and they are helping Pakistan to take their products at very competitive prices at timelines nobody else can beat all over the world. The biggest network they have all over the world, and they can help Pakistan in that. And now they also want to work with Pakistan on building something that could help Pakistan to export, for instance, food and agri products. And that is called cold chain. You build a so-called cold chain. And cold chain is basically, if you want, it's a string of refrigerators, warehouses that are refrigerated. So the produce immediately comes into a warehouse where it stops or slows down the fact of it going bad. You can, if it's in a fridge, like at home, it lasts for longer. If you keep it on the table, it lasts for a shorter time. Yeah. So they build a fridge, the trucking will be refrigerated. Yeah. That's called a cold chain. So you do a cold chain all the way down, almost from the field and to the fork, to the consumer actually, buying the product. It's cold chained all the way down. And then you can have products, because then you can take a fresh product from Pakistan, you can take it to, for instance, the Middle East, and sell that product because it will still be fresh when it arrives in the Middle East. So cold chain, so Maersk, the shipping line engaged, the Danish shipping line engaged in Pakistan, they're looking at, with interest in doing this for the benefit of millions of Pakistani farmers, millions of thousands of Pakistani agribusinesses, small agribusinesses, that at this point in time have a hard time exporting.
I hope you have enjoyed Pakistani mangoes last summer.
Very much, very much. I always look forward to the mango season.
Yeah.
And also the ones, not just a mango is not a mango.
Yeah.
I've learned that in Pakistan, that you have this, you have the Anrodatol mango, you have the Chaunsa, voluptuous, good for juice. You have the white Chaunsa, which is good for, we do a lasagna. But instead of the pasta plates, we use the white Chaunsa cut as a pasta plate. And you think it might be sweet, it is not. It's just very light and they are very soft. I'm sure in the season you can come back, you will enjoy.
Lovely. So what other things, from the Pakistani culture, what do you like the most from Pakistan?
Well, I've enjoyed travel around the country. This is a country of great diversity. Yeah. We go a lot to Karachi. Okay. Karachi obviously has a little challenge as regards dirt, but also, it has its old core. It's a bustling life, and you go out, people are alive. You have the seaside and the beach, which is always a pleasure because Denmark is a country close to the coast. It's hard to be so far away in Islamabad, from the coast if you come from Denmark. So, or you go to Lahore, Lahore with its fantastic historical, center, the center of the Mughal empires, and this deep history that is deeply embedded in this area. You can go to the north.
The salinity of north and everything.
I always give the example. We have one mountain in Denmark. It's called the Sky Mountain.
Okay.
You can't guess how high it is.
Okay.
You can't guess how high it is.
I know. I've been there.
It's 179 meters high.
Oh, okay. So we have at least 8 peaks that are 8,000 meters, I guess, or maybe in that range.
You have 100 that are more than 7 kilometers high.
Yeah.
100, highest number in the world, and you have 5 out of 14 that are more than 8 kilometers. Yeah. So that is a massive array, and for hiking and for the scenery. For the people, very distinct culture, very distinct food with cherries and apricots in it. There's so many things in the north, so many things in Lahore, in Peshawar, completely different. Just 2 hours drive from Islamabad is completely different.
Environment-wise and
So you can Multan with all the shrines. We went one August and it was a little hot. To be honest, but otherwise it was wonderful, and not so. Of course, it's still a big city, but not so big as Karachi.
Yeah.
So it's overcomable, and you can see these historical sites. This gives me great pleasure.
Excellency, as we see that this government is very interested in inviting visitors, tourists from across the world. How do you see the potential of Pakistan? I mean, you are just discussing Lahore, Multan, Karachi, and the northern areas. What's your honest opinion about this entire plate that we have in Pakistan?
Well, there are many opportunities. I mean, you have the sea, you have the coast. I mean, for instance, from Northern Europe, when it's cold and grey and dismal in our part of the world, a lot of people travel to southern shores to get, some sun, which Pakistan has in abundance, and some sea bathing, and having some fun, having some nice food. So you have the sea, you have the mountains, you have the historical centers, Lahore, all the way down to Multan, to Bahawalpur. I mean, there's many things that you could offer, and because people, demand different things. So there is a possibility that can be explored, but it still needs to be explored in a way that you have to build the infrastructure. Right now, it's the incidental tourists that come to Pakistan. It's the single person or small groups that are very interested, and they come here
for raffle side. Otherwise, they don't.
But for the bulk tourism, you need an infrastructure. I can give an example. In Egypt, along the Red Sea coast, in the middle of the desert, you see a group of 5 hotels, put together. They cleaned up the beach. The beach is lovely and nice, and they have sailing, and they have one or the other. They have some opportunities for people. And not just one hotel, but the 5 hotels. So you can go to the restaurant, the 2 or 3 restaurants in your hotel, but you can also go to the other restaurants, which would make, if you're staying more interesting, you can go to different places. So that is also a solution, but you need it. In the north, you probably need a little easier access. You need aircraft being able to land a little more direct in Gilgit, which I think is a challenge because you need some technological changes, to the runway, and because it's a little challenging, sort of landing up there. But you will need some changes, along these lines to facilitate the fact that tourists come. The bulk tourism, normally they don't change aircraft. They have to be able to charter, to fly direct to the place.
Sir, being a student, we find many opportunities in Pakistan in education system, but what opportunities the Denmark embassy or the country Denmark can give to the students in exchange program or the scholarship and all the opportunities over there, and how can we students can get that opportunity to go to Denmark and to visit the places, and especially we can study there. On advanced level, on a higher level. So how can you find this, and how the country help us?
The main thing we're doing is actually through what is known as the Erasmus program, which is the European Union doing it. I mean, all the member states, they have assembled their efforts in the Erasmus program that we all co-host and co-finance. And the Erasmus program takes 1,000 students from Pakistan every year to Europe, of places of their choice, to study, and it could be undergraduate, graduate, or postgraduate. And normally they go for a year. They can also go for 2 years, and they will have a full stipend. The cost will be covered. So it means that you don't have to come, be very rich. You can come from whatever background, and if you, through your grades at your university in Pakistan, you can qualify, then you can become eligible for this. Otherwise, I mean, the way we do it normally is. Through university to the university cooperation. So if there is, if Pakistani university creates a cooperation program with the university in Pakistan, normally there would be an agreement of exchanging so and so many students per year. So that would also be a possibility. We don't have any at the time, but it's completely foreseeable that in the future that such cooperations could be, could be established. We have many, with many countries around the world. The perception, of course, of the security situation is what we are still struggling with. We have a big problem. I mean, now the security situation is stabilizing, but still the perceptions are, that is not safe. And we have to overcome these perceptions. And, in due course we will, as the stabilization continues, that will subside, and then it will open up again, and then there will be some possibilities, I'm sure.
Thank you so much, Excellency. Listeners, today we had with us the Danish ambassador to Pakistan, Mr. Rolf Holmboe. Thank you so much for listening to this program. Maybe next time, inshallah. Allah Hafiz.